A gruesome Christmas, the murder of Silvestre Diaz Hernandez. For most, Christmas is a time of joy, warmth, and family. But on a cold Christmas day in 2013, the spirit of the season darkened in an unimaginable way. In a quiet apartment on the north side of Chicago, the holiday cheer had worn thin for 18-year-old Alexis Valdez, a young man crushed by his own broken promises. Valdez had been given a lifeline. His aunt and her boyfriend, Silvestre Diaz Hernandez, had opened their home to him. The arrangement was clear: stay in school, hold a job, and contribute to the household. But somewhere along the way, Alexis let this opportunity slip through his fingers. He dropped out of school, quit his job, and failed to meet his obligations. What should have been a structured and supportive living situation instead became a tension-filled time bomb ticking toward catastrophe. When Valdez was asked to leave, the timing seemed cruel. Christmas Day, a time when most people open their doors, not slam them shut. For Alexis Valdez, though, it wasn't just bad timing. It was what would drive him to commit a crime so horrifying it would be remembered for its sheer brutality and depravity. The atmosphere became suffocating as Alexis stewed over his aunt and Sylvestre's decision. The rejection dug deep into him, and what began as frustration rapidly spiraled into something far more sinister. On Christmas Day itself, Valdez confronted Silvestre Diaz Hernandez in the apartment. Whatever words were exchanged quickly became irrelevant. Words gave way to violence. Grabbing a hammer, the tool of many dark crimes, Valdez lashed out. With each swing, his anger manifested into a horrifying act. He killed Silvestre Diaz Hernandez in a blood-fueled rage. But it didn't stop there. What followed was a scene that could have been ripped straight from the most twisted horror movie, except this was no fiction. Alexis Valdez went beyond murder, stepping into a realm of cruelty that even seasoned investigators struggle to comprehend. With cold precision, he dismembered Silvestre's lifeless body, removing his limbs one by one. He mutilated the face, a final act of dehumanizing disrespect, and decapitated him. The grotesque act of violence was not simply senseless, it was premeditated in its staging. Valdez left Silvestre's severed head in his aunt's bed, calling it a present for her, a Christmas gift that would forever haunt her life. The sheer malevolence of this detail alone stunned even the most hardened detectives when they arrived at the apartment. But Alexis Valdez didn't flee. He didn't try to hide his crime or concoct a story to evade justice. Instead, he picked up the phone and calmly confessed. On that fateful call, he described exactly what he had done with eerie composure, as though narrating someone else's tale. When police arrived, they found him standing inside the blood-spattered apartment, evidence of his savagery smeared across his clothes and body. Chillingly, Valdez later admitted that his aunt had been on his mind too. He stated matter-of-factly that had she been home, she would have been his next victim. By the time his trial came, Alexis Valdez was 21 years old. In court, he pleaded guilty to the murder, a murder defined not just by its brutality, but by its gruesome theatricality. The court sentenced him to 33 years in prison, a punishment that some have argued is too lenient for a crime of such grotesque magnitude. Even so, what does justice mean in the face of such unfathomable horror? For those whose lives were touched by Silvestre Diaz Hernandez, no sentence can erase the nightmare left behind on that dark Christmas day. The crime of Alexis Valdez serves as a chilling reminder of how fragile the line between conflict and catastrophe can be. It wasn't just the brutality of the act, but the sheer malice behind it that has etched this case into the dark annals of true crime. For fans of this genre, the story taps into our shared fascination with what drives people to commit the unthinkable. This is the allure and the darkness of true crime, not merely recounting the events, but grappling with the haunting reality that sometimes monsters reside closer than we think.